Alright, what's up, yins, guys? Time for another video. Anyway, I got some sun kind of going over here. I don't know if you see in this video, go like this, it's brighter, and over here it's shadowy, but and if I go kind of like this, my face half shadowy, but all these people were still coming here because nobody told them that we ran out of housing to give them we ran out of it years ago. Nobody told them. That's why people were still coming here. And these people, these ultra liberals, refuse to admit to anybody that that they ran out of housing and ran out of space. They don't want to admit that they failed, that their way has failed. So that's why nobody told them. And these people still think that they are going to get all this housing and stuff, and they're wondering why they're homeless. Nobody told them. Anyway, yeah, what's up, guys? Time for another video. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the immigration problem, but I'm going to say some shit that I say outside of YouTube that nobody's thinking of. Okay, this is shit that all these other YouTubers are all saying the same stuff that we already know. Every YouTuber's talking about it. But I'm going to put this in a way that I think a lot of YouTubers know this is, but yet this is the stuff that they're sort of missing. I kind of want to say it's shit that they're missing. It's like they sort of know, but some of them they're not thinking of saying it. They're not every single one of them are thinking of saying it at the time. Some of them maybe are. But why this is, I want to say why this is going on the way it is. All of a sudden they're all being sent to New York. They're beating up on police now or whatever. Okay, what YouTubers are not saying, you know, if you're like me and everybody else watching all the videos by other YouTubers saying, which is all the same shit, only difference is maybe another YouTuber saying it. But anyway, what I feel is the main problem, but maybe all these YouTubers will agree with. I tell my partners this, I tell this to people outside of YouTube. I mean, even though I'm not some big monetized channel, but why it is what it is. I'll just get on with saying. To not jump subjects, you want to go back maybe a few decades. It's up to you how far. Maybe go back to, in your mind, when you're hearing about the shit, maybe when you were a teenager or even a small kid, and back when they were giving everybody welfare. I don't want to spend too much money on this part. I'd be saying, like other YouTubers saying that word, I digress. But not going to spend too much time on saying this, but I remember I was a small kid in my area, around the Pittsburgh area. Like, I wasn't in the city of Pittsburgh, but outside of Pittsburgh, yeah, in a town where I was actually like a young kid. Everybody was working because of the steel mills, right? And they just gave everybody welfare, right? Because everybody was working, so anybody that was not working, man, they gave everybody welfare. Like, even like white kids, like if your parents got divorced, man, they were given welfare checks, all this food stamps. And if people didn't go drink and do drugs or whatever, there was plenty, you were doing fine. And my point is, I'm trying to give you the idea of, if you can think back to your young kid years, right, what you're getting out of what was going on back then and why things are up to now, right? And you're hearing different stuff. Say you're a small kid, you're hearing about shit. Then you're a teenager, you're hearing about this shit. Then when you're out of school and in a process of maybe trying to get some job and money of your own, you're hearing about the shit. And then up till now, how that system was changing. Okay, keep that in your head, because I don't want to go spend too much time on it. All those decades ago, you pick how many decades you want to talk about. You know, like I said, my point is going back to when you were a small kid. Why I'm bringing that up is that during those times, all these people coming across borders saying, oh yeah, we'll give you free housing, give you, say, food stamps, welfare. I mean, doing it is one thing, but then a government blowing the trumpet and say, yeah, you all come right over here, whether you're legit or whether you just walk right in here or legal. Illegal or legal, we're going to give you everything, right? And they were given all this free housing, even the people from outside the country, for all these years. And how things are changing up to now, the reason why even more and more are flocking up here to present day, well, they're running, and at the same time, I'm seeing in the Pittsburgh TV news, I mean, people that are actually living in that city, in their own fucking city, and lived in this country and whatever city all their life, they're fucking homeless. And they got all these other people coming in across the border. They're all homeless. And I know you're going to be watching me and says, oh yeah, we know, what the fuck's your point? So I figure any of you guys are up to, any of you guys buying out or saying, what the fuck's your point? My point is, okay, maybe decades before there was some room and they were putting a lot of these in housing, and quite frankly, our people should have come first. Everybody knows that. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't think everybody knows. But the difference between then and now, nobody told all these people when they're coming over this border that it's you ain't going to be able to just automatically get a housing or apartment anywhere no more and get benefits. You know what I mean? All these people coming in here all these years. That's why I'm trying to bring back to you, if you can remember hearing about the shit from when you were a small kid, teenager, and then up to now. There's less and less fucking space available. And I ain't gonna volunteer any of me and my partner's business, but like about maybe 5 years ago, me and my partner were this close to being homeless, and agencies don't even fucking help you. There's people homeless out on a homeless shelter, say in Pittsburgh. What saved our asses, we had a relative loan us some money, and then even when we were like loaned some money, you know, we still could have been this close to being homeless because no vacancy, or somebody else got the apartment first, you know what I mean? It's like that as it is if you fucking live in this place, live in this country. Well, there was a time like 20 plus years ago, I had a real good paying job, and they were selling my building. And this when I was making pretty damn good money for being in Western Pennsylvania. Right? They sold my building. They wanted everybody out in 30 days. I had decent money to get whatever I was after, you know. But it took forever to get a place. No vacancy. Somebody got it before you. You were doing all these applications or whatever. And you see what I mean? I digress here, but when you're living in this country, you can have a good fucking paying job or have people to help you if you need another place as it is, and you can still not find a place as it is. And but I digress, like some of these other YouTubers saying. And the reason why all these other people are still fucking coming here and why they were there all these years, yeah, we all know the liberal politicians and all that too. But it's not just that. That's my point. The part of it that a lot of the YouTubers are missing or forgetting to say, and a lot of the watchers of all these YouTube videos, just like me and you watching this, everybody's watching all these YouTube videos, and we're seeing all that same shit. So I'm trying to tell you something that maybe you're don't already know, or what some YouTubers are missing. The reason why they're still fucking coming here is it's all that shit. And the one main point I think that everybody misses is the fact that nobody told all these fucking people that you're not just gonna come here and just get a place. You're gonna still be fucking homeless, and you're gonna be kept somewhere. Yeah, they're using, like you see all these YouTube videos now in New York, they're telling the kids they can't go to school. They're using the schools, the bus stations, every single banquet hall, anything they can find. And then New York is actually asking people, have the nerve to ask these people, can you bring some of them in your own house? And I was going to do a video kind of ranting about this. I still will, if you got this far in this video. Yeah, that's what the fuck they're doing now. Whether, okay, you take any person watching this, whether black or white in New York. Say you could be black or white in New York, right? You got kids, a wife, kids, and even a dog. You're barely eating. You're maybe balancing your food out with a little veggies, a little ramen, rice, the cheapest shit you can get. The cheap ass spaghetti that doesn't never cook right. Instead of the San Giorgio, you're getting the generic ass spaghetti, right? And they are going to ask you, say, imagine you're black or white, live in New York, and what I just told you there, and you're barely feeding yourselves, and they're asking you to take some of them, the refugees or illegals, in your house, right? Whether it's one or two family, share your food with them, share your bathroom with them, right? And I'm not even hating on any because they're Mexican, because they're with any nationality. That's insane. You're barely feeding yourself, and then you got homeless in your own city that lived there all their life. That's fucking insane. You're gonna let some fucking bunch of strangers just eat the food that you barely have and your kids barely have, and they're gonna be in your bathroom, sleeping on your couch, all because these fuckers that run all because of these fuckers that run the damn country, letting them all come in, right? And they never bothered in all these years to tell them that we were out of space, that we were completely out of room. That's the problem. I did this in a long-winded comment on some YouTube channels, that the very ultra-liberal Democrats and people that want to just bring them all in and just give them everything, they don't want to admit that they don't have no more space. They're running out of space, and they're even running out of money. I mean, you realize when you just bring people in droves forever and ever and ever, just open the border, let them all come in, the only way you're going to feed all these people, give them all food stamps, right? You're going to start printing paper out. You're going to be printing paper out of the air in the next few years. It's going to be like what Jim Quinn said. You know, when I used to listen to Jim Quinn when he was on FM radio back decades ago, you're going to be having to get a bushel basket of money just to buy a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk or a pack of ramen. You know what I'm saying? There is no fucking way you're going to keep you're going to keep letting people just come in and buy the thousands per day or a minute or whatever, keep giving them welfare without keeping on printing the money and then devaluing the currency. And then, like I told some people too, if you got this far in this video before you turn it off, yeah, you can build a fucking wall if you want to, spend all the money, but what the fuck good is a wall if you got people still in public offices that open up the gates or let them over the wall, or just open up the gates of the border or whatever, you know, or this, you know what I'm saying? But and then we're not the only country. Other countries are doing this shit too. Let other people just walk right in their border and they're giving them everything. I'm not saying to not give anybody, but you know, it's just not this country. You know, Canada and all these other countries are doing it too. And every single fucking country that does this, you can't just let them all in forever. They're going to be just printing paper to infinity. And you can't even keep doing that because are you going to be able to produce food and farms for these people, whether it be meat, pork, cows, beef, milk, grain? And whether you're religious or not, or believe in any apocalypse, all the fuck you need is maybe, let's say, one swine flu or bird flu or whatever the fuck else kills the grain, and one major famine, and everybody is going to be turning on each other and eating each other, you know. Anyway, the reason why if you got this far in this video, the reason why I brought this up, like, wanted you to go back in your memories when you're hearing about this as a small kid. And another reason I'll throw in there too is, yeah, I remembered from when I was a small kid up until teenage years and now how things changed. And at a very young age, I remember an old movie that came out like what, maybe 2 years after I was born. I think I was born in '72, and I think I have to look back again. The movie with the late Yul Brynner and Max von Sydow, which died like maybe I think Max von Sydow died like in about like 4 or 5 years ago recently, and so did William Smith, the guy that played the bad guy. He died a few years ago too. But anyway, I remember this movie, the late Yul Brynner and Max von Sydow, and which got me fascinated with the possibility of a collapse of civilization. Um, I remember Yul Brynner talking to Max von Sydow in the movie. Yeah, what prompted you to join us? What we're offering you the food, to be our protection and work for us in our compound or whatever. Yeah, and they were talking about cigars, and they were talking about an old Cadillac that his father died of all the epidemics and everything. Anyway, the movie took place. I don't want to go on and on about it. The movie took place in a time where everything died or whatever, and food was scarce, and New York was basically Wild West. So in the I'll never forget, in the conversation as a small kid, the whole aspect of the movie, they're trying to grow tomatoes on rooftops, and they got enemies out there they got to keep walled off, don't want to take their food and water, and you maybe even kill them. So anyway, I got fascinated with that shit. That's the first movie that got me fascinated with that shit before there were these zombie apocalypse movies, and then movies later you talk about like maybe the Book of Eli and all these other movies. But I remember I'll never forget when I was a kid, Yul Brynner talking to Max von Sydow and telling the situation, and Yul Brynner looks right at Max and says, people are beginning to eat people out there. And then Max says, yeah, I've heard the stories. But yeah, I mean, wait, is that where we could be headed? I mean, everybody can't just be. Something's gonna break sooner or later. I mean, with the currency collapsing or whatever. And if my point before I end this, my point was I was trying to say, getting to the point was, you cannot. I'll say it one more time. You cannot keep doing this fucking shit forever. Because what's going to happen is, you keep printing money to give welfare to these people. You're already out of housing, right? What are you going to do? Do like China with them abandoned cities, which if you look at the YouTube videos, how China was just paying people just to throw up all these cities, and a lot of the buildings were just cutting corners, and the buildings are just collapsing. But anyway, what the fuck are we gonna do? We're gonna keep printing money, and we're gonna build low-income housing in every single place there is, right? Cut corners and throw up buildings real fast. Is that where we can be headed? You get some leaders to say, okay, why don't we throw up some low-income housing and get it done real fast, and and cut corners, and just throw some plumbing in any old way, and then eventually the buildings are failing. Then you're going to keep doing that, right? And say you build a bunch of cheap housing or something real quick, inflate the currency to do so, give everybody welfare, and then you keep doing. You're still going to be eventually out of fucking space. What are they going to do? Have everybody shoulder to shoulder? Build teensy little shoebox houses in the public parks and along your trails and along the rivers. I'm not want to spend too much time on it, but yeah, they're gonna be all of a sudden they just gonna throw little like shacks in the public parts of your fucking town, and say they do. I'm just trying to tell you the scenarios. You do that and then you think you're going to keep producing food, cattle and vegetables and grain and all that. And I always said one famine, whether it's like diseases of vegetables or you get potatoes and whatever vegetables, the crop is bad one year. You get an outbreak of something with the chickens again, or outbreak of the pigs get sick and they got to kill them all. You know, that's been happening. Or what if you get some major disease or that just happens, or some country that hates us decides to unleash some kind of chemical warfare or like biological warfare, not designed to kill the people but kill all your food and livestock, so that they can turn everybody on each other and make the place hell. Shit, I mean, it's a higher likelihood that somebody fucking does that rather than turns it against the people. They would, you know what I mean? An enemy wouldn't have to have to use a bioweapon or any kind of a thing against actual population of people. I'm just saying that could, even taken off the table any kind of a bioterrorist attack attacking the food. Say it happens in nature on its own, like I told you, all these cattle getting sick. I'm just throwing at you a whole bunch of things rather than making a longer video than this is already, right? Trying to squeeze in as much scenarios in as possible. Anyway, my point is something's going to give sooner or later. I mean, it just can't be done forever. It just can't. No matter what ultra-liberal tells you, even, yeah, you can inflate the currency and print paper forever and ever, but you can't bet on that the food production is still going to be there. Anything interrupts the food production. Can't say that. I can't speak that enough. One interruption in food production, that'd be the end of everybody. People will be turning on and eating each other, and then doing all kind of major or just to put it that way, ending this. The rest of this, every city in the rest of this country will get just like in California is right now, where 90% of the people are homeless in particular cities. I mean, I think these people are just out of excuses. They know that we know, and they just want us to shut the fuck up. And they do not want to admit that we ran out of housing and out of space. They don't want to admit that we ran out of housing for these people. And they still think that they're coming here and they're going to get this housing. You know what I mean? That's why they're still coming here.